For centuries, scholars have debated the identity of Gog and Magog. Now, a new military pact signed by Russia may have just solved the mystery and started the final countdown. Deep in the prophetic scrolls of the Old Testament, the prophet Ezekiel laid out a battlefield scenario for the last days. It is a vision that has captivated and baffled theologians for over 2,500 years. A final great war aimed at the nation of Israel. Ezekiel 38 describes a massive confederacy of nations, a multi-front invasion force, descending upon the hills of Israel in a time when it is living at peace. The leader of this invasion is a mysterious figure named Gog, from the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Crucially, the prophet identifies Gog's homeland with a single directional clue. He comes from the uttermost parts of the north. The stakes of this prophecy are immense. Its fulfillment is considered by many scholars to be a primary trigger for the final sequence of end-time events, a war so significant that it ends not with human power, but with the direct, divine intervention of God himself. For generations, interpreters have looked at the world map, tracing the lands north of Israel, and one nation has consistently been identified as the prime candidate for Magog: Russia. The question has always been, when and how would this ancient prophecy come to life? Now, as Russia forms shocking new alliances in the Middle East, the prophetic puzzle pieces are falling into place with terrifying speed and precision. The low hum of a geopolitical chessboard being set up can be felt around the world. Pieces, once stationary, are now moving into new, aggressive positions. Ezekiel's prophecy wasn't a vague prediction. It was a specific intelligence briefing, listing the exact members of Gog's coalition. The lead nations are identified as Magog, along with Rosh, Meshech, and Tubal, names ancient historians like Josephus associated with the Scythians, the ancestors of modern-day Russia. But this northern power does not march alone. The prophet names its key allies. Persia, Cush, and Put are with them, and Gomer and Togarmah from the far north. Translating these ancient names into modern-day equivalents reveals a stunningly relevant alliance. Persia is modern Iran. Cush is the region of Sudan and Ethiopia. Put corresponds to Libya, and Togarmah, a people from the north, is almost universally identified as modern-day Turkey. For centuries, this specific coalition of nations seemed politically impossible. Russia, Iran, and Turkey were historical rivals, each with competing ambitions. They would never, it was thought, march together under a single banner. But if this prophecy were to be fulfilled, these historical enemies would have to become steadfast allies. That seemingly impossible condition is now a geopolitical reality. What is the new military pact that may have started the final countdown? We must look not at a single treaty, but at a strategic convergence that has solidified over the past decade, primarily on the battlefields of Syria. According to a recent analysis by the Atlantic Council, Russia and Iran have transitioned from a tactical alliance to a deep-rooted strategic partnership. This cooperation involves advanced weapons sharing, joint military planning, and coordinated economic moves designed to counter Western influence. They are united by a common goal: the removal of American and Israeli power from the region. At the same time, Turkey, a NATO member, has executed a stunning pivot toward Russia, purchasing its S-400 air defense system and conducting joint military patrols. This tripartite alliance between Moscow, Tehran, and Ankara, once unthinkable, is now the dominant power bloc in Syria, sitting directly on Israel's northern border. The sound of military boots from 3 different armies marching in step on the dusty plains of Syria creates a soundscape of fulfilled prophecy. This isn't a future prediction, it is a present reality. The ancient confederacy described by Ezekiel is no longer a theoretical possibility. Its key members, Russia, Iran, and Turkey, are actively coordinating military operations together for the first time in modern history, in the very region from which the prophesied invasion is to be launched. The alliance is in place. But what about the other prophetic conditions? Ezekiel states this invasion will happen when Israel is a land of unwalled villages, a people dwelling securely. This has been a major stumbling block for interpreters. Modern Israel is the opposite of an unwalled village. It is a fortress nation with advanced military capabilities and heightened security. So, how could this be fulfilled? Some scholars suggest this points to a future time after a major peace deal, where Israel is lulled into a false sense of security. Others offer a different view, suggesting the security is not military, but economic. The prophecy states the invaders come to capture spoil and to seize plunder, to take Israel's great wealth. In recent years, massive natural gas fields have been discovered off Israel's coast, turning it into a major energy player. According to a report from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, these energy reserves are a major point of regional tension, a source of immense spoil that its enemies, including Russia and Iran, desperately want to control. This economic motive adds a powerful layer of plausibility to the prophetic scenario. The pieces are not just on the board. They now have a clear reason to move. So, has the new Russo-Iranian-Turkish alliance solved the mystery of Gog and Magog? While no one can set a date, the evidence is overwhelming. The leader from the uttermost parts of the north, Russia, is now the dominant military power in the Middle East. Its primary allies are the exact nations named by Ezekiel 2,500 years ago: Iran, Persia, and Turkey, Togarma. Their forces are gathered on Israel's northern border, and Israel has discovered the great spoil that could provide the very motive for the invasion. Never before in history has the specific geopolitical alignment described in Ezekiel 38 existed. Today, it is front-page news. This convergence is the sign we have been waiting for, a sign that we are living in the shadow of one of the most significant prophetic events in all of Scripture. The ultimate purpose of the Gog-Magog war, as the Bible describes it, is not Israel's destruction, but its salvation. Ezekiel's prophecy concludes with a stunning scene of divine intervention. God himself will strike down the invading armies with pestilence, hailstones, and fire. The aftermath of the war is not a human victory, but a global revelation of God's power. God declares, "I will make myself known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord." This event is designed to put the world on notice that the final act of human history has begun. The headlines from the Middle East are no longer just news. They are becoming the fulfillment of ancient scripture. As we watch these alliances form and these armies move, we are not watching the prelude to a regional conflict. We are watching the stage being set for a divine appointment. If you believe it's more important than ever to understand the intersection of prophecy and current events, subscribe to our channel for ongoing analysis and geopolitical intelligence briefings.